Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. This is your girl, Aly. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. As you saw, all the different flyers going across the front there, different events going on, different programs. So make sure if you miss something, you go back and hit replay. There's always contact information on the flyers. And I do want to remind everybody about the free brunch that happens in Charlotte every Sunday afternoon. The doors open at 12 o'clock and the brunch starts at 1. It's at 2600 Clemson Avenue in Charlotte, hosted by none other than Mr. Excitement. And it is at the Sound Check Hookah and Daiquiri Bar there in Charlotte. And so, but there's, like I said, always many events going on, things for the children, things for the elderly, disabilities. So always check out the flyers and make that contact. But today I want to introduce you all to the sponsor for this week, who is Constance Howard. She is an executive life coach, and she actually has a master class coming up this week. And we're going to run her ad about the master class. But guess what? Right after that, we're going to introduce you to Constance so we can talk more about it. So here is the ad about the master class from imposter to unstoppable.
Hi, I'm Constance Howard, executive coach on a mission to help women gain unstoppable confidence. The kind of confidence where you can walk into any room and command the situation. All eyes are on you, but you don't care. Why? Because you know who you are, what your goals are, and you're not looking for outside validation. Just think about it. What could you achieve with that kind of confidence? Well, ladies, I'm here to tell you that confidence is available to you, and I can show you how in my masterclass on July 19th. In that class, you'll learn how to reframe the story that's been holding you back, change the language you use to talk to and about yourself, and finally, how to build an inner circle that will help you achieve your goals. What are you waiting for? Don't you want that kind of confidence? Well, head over to my website, constancehowardllc.com, and reserve a seat for the masterclass on July 19th. That's constancehowardllc.com, and the masterclass is on July 19th. I hope I see you there.
All right. Yeah, I'm excited. Guess who's registered? Ding,
Oh my gosh,
ding.
great, great. I'm so excited.
So,
Thank
Constance, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. I'm a little nervous because this is my first master class. And so I keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. And right up until, 1 o'clock, I was, adding some more slides to it. And I'm a stress eater, I have to tell you. I had to take a break and get some pizza.
Hey, that's a good break right there. Yeah, well, awesome. Well, Constance, I know they've heard a little bit about the master class. I know I've talked about you a little bit, but and this is not your first time with this. You are now part of the family.
That's right.
In case this is somebody's first time meeting you, I do want to give you an opportunity just to tell a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an executive coach. As the ad said, my mission is to help women gain unstoppable confidence. Prior to that, I spent 40 years in TV news as a journalist. I started off as a reporter back in the day, and I worked my way up into management. And so my last job was at the NBC station here in Washington, D.C. And I just won another Emmy. I'm so excited. I left in January of 2022, and they submitted a show that I did before I left. And so out of the blue, I got another Emmy. So I was really excited about that. But the majority of my life was spent in TV news. Matter of fact, all of my life was spent in TV news. And then, I got to the point where it was like enough, enough, enough. And I made the career switch. And the reason why I talk so much about the imposter syndrome is because I feel like for 40 years, I had the imposter syndrome.
Really? The
Yeah,
whole
I did. I did. I mean, listen,
Now wait, this is your fourth Emmy, right?
yes. Yes.
You still were dealing with the imposter syndrome?
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
talk about it.
I just never, and here's the other thing, Allie. Back in the day, I was among the first African Americans to really run a news department.
Mhm.
It's for the CBS station in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hmm.
As a matter of fact, it was the Jesse Helms station, so that really blows me away.
Okay.
That at
That's
some
even
point,
more interesting.
right, at some point they made me their news director. But I always just had this feeling that I was in over my head, that I didn't really belong there. Like any minute they were going to say, we need to speak with you in the conference room.
Right.
And I just always had that feeling. And so there are ways that I coped with it. There are things that I did, like I look back on it and I go, okay, that's a definite imposter behavior. But for most of that time, I had no idea what the imposter syndrome was. I just knew that I felt this way. And I knew that I could not tell anybody that I felt this way, because
Mhm.
that would be a career killer.
Right.
You don't go, excuse me, I'm a little, I'm doubtful, I'm fearful. No, you live in the part of that syndrome is that you live in fear that people will discover that you are a so-called imposter, that you really don't know what you say or pretend that you know.
Yeah.
Um, and so, that was most of my life. And remember, I'm talking about becoming a news director in the 80s or early 90s. So um, women having a position of authority was not, and then to be a Black woman to have a position of authority was, unheard of. And
Right.
so, and that's part of the imposter syndrome. You think that I don't really deserve the position that I have. And because society reinforces that, it's easy
Interesting.
to just keep thinking in the back of your mind, wow, I'm not enough for this. You know, I'm not enough for this.
Right.
I remember overhearing somebody when the news director left the station. He left it abruptly. Like he came in, and I can't remember what happened. Well, let me back up. you know, I went to my boss. I was the producer. I went to my boss and I said, I want to make $34,000. And he was like, oh, no, we're not paying you $34,000 as a producer. And so, my mom said, well, Connie, they have the right to pay you whatever they want to pay you. You have the right to walk away. You can,
Mm,
you can walk away or you can accept it.
right.
What are you going to do? And, I mean, she threw the ball right back in my corner. And I was like, oh, I was hoping to get some sympathy over
Right.
here.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, she wasn't having it. And so I went out and I found another job. Like there were so few Black producers that to knock on somebody's door and say, I know how to put a newscast together was like, okay. So I went to WSB in Atlanta and they offered me a job, and I came back and I said, hey, I got a job. And this was in a matter of like in a week or maybe 2 weeks. And I said, hey, I
Wow.
got another job. I'm leaving. And then and this is my first lesson in management. They said, oh my gosh, Connie, we didn't say never. No, 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 you misunderstood. No, 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 now calm down. You
Right.
know, not
Right.
only did they give me the money, but they said, we're going to put you on a career path. We're going to make you the executive producer. And then after we train you, we'll make you the assistant news director, and we'll eventually make you the news director. And so the guy who came in was supposed to train, I was going to be his assistant, and he was going to train me on ultimately taking his job. But something happened, and I think he had just kind of like a mental breakdown. And so just months later, they were like, well, tag, you're it, Connie. And I was like, okay, well, I was just kind of, I didn't think it was going to happen.
Right.
um, and so that opportunity just opened itself up to me. And so, I'm in there going, you can do it. I'm in the bathroom going, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. And everybody who I had promised things to, you know how you crap talk, in your office, you're like, well, if I was the boss, I would do this. And I would say like some of the women didn't like it because it's a very um patriarchal patriarchal, you know what I'm saying? It's a very male dominated
Right.
field. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
um, women were kind of like the sidekick. They didn't really read the news. They were like, okay, you toss the weather,
Right.
you toss the sports, and maybe we'll let you toss to a commercial. So they were just kind of like the sidekick. And they were always complaining about it. As a producer, my job was to line it up and to make sure it was written and all that kind of stuff like that. And I would say, oh my gosh, if I was the news director, I would make you the anchor and I would give you lots to say. And then when I became, they were like, remember you said you would give me lots to say? And I was like, that was a joke. Hold up.
Oh
Pull
my.
up, player. Ain't nobody here trying to,
Right.
apple cart, you know. So yeah.
You better add about 3 words to your.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna let the camera linger on you, but don't say anything.
But man, Connie, that is amazing though. That is such a great story because you were a trailblazer in so many areas.
Yeah.
Like
But I
you
didn't
said,
know it. I didn't know
right, right.
it. I didn't
But
know
you were
it.
still just trying to hang on, trying to make sure you stayed and your bills got paid, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You
So,
just every day you go like, okay, help me, Lord.
hmm.
Yeah.
But you know that when you're talking about you're in the bathroom, prepping yourself up and get pumping
Hmm.
yourself up. I remember um I started at this company I'm with, and I only worked for like a year at the warehouse, and people always posting stuff and things like that. And so there was a posting at the corporate office. And so, I put my name on the list, or maybe somebody called me to put my name on the list, whatever. And I ended up getting the job, and people were like, "Do you know somebody over there?" And I was
Yes.
like, no. And at the time, I didn't know how hard it was or whatever. I was like, no. And they were making me feel bad. And I was like, what? Are you trying to
Right.
say I'm stupid? I don't deserve the job or whatever.
Right.
But I didn't know what they had been dealing with for all those years.
Right.
And then, like, somebody would be like, well, you're safe because you're a black female. And I said, well, you know what they can do? Replace me with another black female. So I got to do my job just like everybody else.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
see, it's those comments that always plant the seed in the back of your mind. And
Mhm.
the way our brain works, it's more receptive to negative, right? Because your brain is trying to keep you safe. And so it's always on the lookout for what could be danger and what could, trip you up. So that's what your brain is like, okay, Will Robinson. I hope people get that one. Uh, we had just been talking about how I'll say things that are from back in the day, but
Right.
um, you know, but those seeds are planted, and so our mind is really receptive to that kind of thing. And so when you think twice before you ask for a raise, right?
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
the imposter syndrome. It costs you money. It costs you your self-esteem. It could create loneliness and depression because a big part of it is you're all alone. You feel like you're all alone. I mean, who could you have gone to and said, well, they make me feel like I don't belong here, No, you just kind of keep it to yourself and do the best you can.
Right. Right. And, let me just read the definition. The imposter. It's a condition of feeling anxious
Hmm.
and not experiencing success internally,
Right.
despite being high performing in
Yes.
external objective ways.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so we don't even see how powerful or how successful or how well we're doing. You
Hmm.
Like you said, it's that internal thing that we deal with. And it does, and I'm glad you brought that up because this July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so, all that, like you said, plays on our mind, you affects our sleep, affects our, our productivity because
Everything.
yeah.
everything. It's this feeling, that whatever success you have, you think, oh, I was lucky.
Lucky.
I really didn't earn that, even though you did. You just think, well, it was a fluke that, that I got that. It's oh yeah, I had a great team, and so you don't accept it as your victory or your success. And even if you enjoy it for 2 seconds, you snap back. It's almost like, whoa, wait a second, what am I thinking? I'm not that good. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it does. It makes you. For me, I felt like I was always like that hamster on the wheel. I was always running. I never stopped to say, wow, you did this. I just thought, okay, oh my God, I hope, for me in the newsroom, I hope there isn't another big breaking news story, because then I'm tested again and I'm
Mhm.
up against it again, and then they're going to find out that I'm not that great. You know what I mean? And even we know Angela Duran in common, and she, I just kind of casually said, "Yeah, I have 3 Emmys," and I just won one just a week or two ago, and she's like, "You won 3 Emmys?" I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "You won
I
three,
know.
you won 3 Emmys," and I was like, "Yeah," because I never stopped in the moment to celebrate that or to think anything of it. You know what I mean? And then when the third one, I didn't, it was the same thing. It was like, oh yeah, I got another Emmy. And then, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, when I discovered I had won an Emmy for a show that I did just before I left, um, I was like, yeah, I got another Emmy. And what's so funny is, Karl Malone, the basketball player.
Mhm.
Okay, my sister is a big, big fan of Karl Malone.
Mhm.
She got one of those little Karl Malone, those little dolls.
The bobbleheads.
Yeah, no, it's like a
Oh,
doll, like a little stuffed doll. Well,
okay.
he's on top of one of them. It's like he's riding it like a pony. It's on the shelf. I'm looking at it now. It's like, yeah, so much for that. you
Oh
know,
my gosh,
I
that is hilarious.
know.
But Connie and Emmy, I mean, I was there at the Brilliant Lady retreat, and when she introduced you and she said that, I was like, I'm gonna sneak out and go to the bathroom, and I'm not coming back in here because these women are Emmy winners. They're CEOs of these
Yes.
companies, and I was like, whew, look at those.
And I'm on the other end doing the same thing.
See, it's
Like, I'm
hilarious.
looking, that's another part of the imposter syndrome. You look at everybody else and you think, wow, they got it all together.
Hmm.
Have it together.
Hmm.
And I remember Angela would say it over and over, and I used to think, "Shit, why don't she stop saying it? I don't get why she keeps saying it."
Quit saying my name, girl.
Exactly.
And even with that, she was like, you can interview people. You can, and I'm like, I ain't interviewing nobody. I'm sitting in my
I know. I know.
And so, but I'm glad I stayed. I'm glad I stayed engaged and open,
Yes.
because that's one of the things I did get from that was that we, although we're different, we're all very similar.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
much so that it was just an amazing group of women, and we
Yes.
still, keep in touch and talk and stuff like that. And I was like, of all the things that I thought could have gone wrong, this was like one of the best places I
Was
could have
one of the best places, right? Absolutely. And I was kind of like, I signed up for it, and I signed up immediately because I believe in Angela and I believe in what she's doing. But I got to tell you, I'm like, I can't believe I'm on the road at 4 o'clock in the morning, driving all the way and after you, after you turn past 50, a half hour is a long trip. A half hour is, oh my gosh, you think, should I pack a lunch or should I just get something on the way? And so that's how I felt. And then when I got there, I was just so glad that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so even in that imposter mindset makes you think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in this room with these ladies. I
I don't want
mean, even to the point of, I got this roommate that I don't know. I don't know if they stay up at night, if they're gonna be aggravated by me being to watching TV. It's just like, and what if they start asking me questions or they start talking about like something I don't know about, and the whole, but I'm just so thankful. And that's what I say to anybody. If you're feeling that syndrome, make sure you're in this masterclass on
Yes,
Wednesday, because it's just an internal thing that we have the power to turn off.
absolutely.
And if you stay connected and if you stay open to opportunities, it's amazing
Yes,
the benefits from that. So
yes.
tell us a little bit more about, why this topic, and you're talking about from imposter to unstoppable,
Like I said, I suffered with the imposter syndrome until one day I was in a conference room and my boss, my supervisor, had come up with some harebrained idea. No, you know how they come up with, when you don't do the work, you just think, okay, you could hang from the
that's easy.
ceiling.
Just do
Yeah,
that.
you could hang from the ceiling and then spin 4 times. And you know what I mean? And I was looking at him like, seriously, I can't even believe that you're asking, you know, me to do whatever it is. And I often say that, what is the prize for you doing um, good work? It's more work. It's the pie eating
Mhm.
contest. You win the
Right.
blueberry pie, you get some more blueberry pie, so that you get more work. And I just remember thinking, I'm sick and tired of feeling the way I did. And in that moment, it's like that clarity washes over you,
Mhm.
I, I'm going to say that I'm going to use this term because I just heard it and I love it. So it's a bad word at the beginning. It's AOF. I had an AOF moment, which is ass on fire moment.
Look
And
at me with it.
I thought, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to, figure out whatever it is inside me that makes me think it's okay to allow someone to really take advantage of me,
Mhm.
take advantage of my work. And once I figure that out, I will scream it from the mountaintops, because I don't want another woman to feel like she's not enough, right? What are the benefits of your boss thinking you're not enough? One, they can load more work on you, right? Two,
Right.
they can pay you less because you just shut up and you're just happy to be there, um, and three, you won't challenge them in any way, because you're sitting there thinking, well, do I really deserve to be here? So there's all these benefits. And I just thought, I'll scream it from the rooftop, I will figure this out and I will help other women. And in that moment was the moment that started me to make the turn, right?
Mhm.
And I actually wrote the resignation letter 2 years before I turned it in.
Oh wow.
And Allie, I had no idea where I was going. And the letter was like, "Dear," the person saying, "thank you so much for this." You know how you write the letter and you're just like, you know, "Thank you so much for this opportunity." And
Right. Thank you so much for overworking me and underpaying me.
you're just, it's just, as we in the South call, nice nasty, you know.
Right.
But I'm gonna go off to do, I don't know, but
Oh.
keep going. And, so I write this letter out 2 years before I actually fill everything in, and I turn it in. But the beauty in what happened was, the second you say to yourself, there's a better life for me,
Mhm.
they no longer have power over you.
Mhm.
So he could come in and say, Connie, yabba dabba do. And I would think in my mind, that is a wonderful idea. I was thinking about yabba dabba do myself because I knew that those days were numbered. And I
Right.
knew that I was working on myself to to make that change. Right. So that's why I think you go from imposter, from feeling like you don't deserve what you want, to this unstoppable confidence, which says, I can not only walk away from this situation, but I can walk away and thrive. You know,
Mhm.
I can define success for myself. You and I came up where success was a job, a steady job. You were in really good position if you had a good government job, right?
Right.
That's just how they said it. You get yourself a good government job.
Yeah.
Um, and you have a house and you have kids and blah blah blah, and that was the definition of success. The problem is every time you reach a milestone, it gets pushed away. Oh no, that's not it. It's something you have to work hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's why I say, when you have that kind of unstoppable confidence, you're not looking for any outside validation. You're not looking to see what others think or say about you. You really don't care to look around the room and assess who's what. I'd go into a room and I would say, that person looks like they're smart, or they look like, you know what I mean? And now I look back on it and I go, well, how do they look smart, Connie?
Yeah. What did that mean? What made him look smart? Their suit they had on?
Exactly. But
Mhm.
here's the thing about the imposter syndrome. It doesn't have to make sense.
Mhm.
Your belief doesn't have to make sense. You just have to believe it,
Right.
and run with it.
And it is really, like I just said, you're looking on their external, You're looking at the car they may have drove up in, the suit they might have on, the bag they might be carrying, but you don't really know what they're carrying on the
Exactly.
inside.
Exactly. Joel Osteen says you are comparing yourself to somebody's highlight reel. And it's so
Mhm.
true, because we get on Facebook and we get, on all these other platforms, and we look at everybody else's life and we go, wow, I wish I had that life, and but you don't know what they're thinking or doing. I had a client who um she was just, skinning and grinning, as they say, and she was just having a great time on social media. When I talked to her, I said, hey, you were doing so well, you're really thriving, and I'm just so proud of you. And she said, Connie, that's Facebook. I'm a hot mess inside,
Mhm.
you know. And she's one of the people I talk about in my imposter syndrome, because she came to me because she had all the coping mechanisms, and we all have them. For her, she had no energy, no motivation. She was sleeping, all the time. um she had to be to work at 9. She was like up at like 8:15. Like, she cut it as close as she possibly could. Wind down Wednesday became wind down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh,
What I mean? It was just
right.
that, you just you do whatever you have to do. You use whatever coping mechanisms that you feel help you in some way.
Right.
And
Right.
so she was doing all that. But on the outside, let me tell you, she was hitting it.
Wow. And that's the thing about it. You have these coping mechanisms that are supposed to be like for a situation, or, maybe a short season. And that's one of the ways you can tell that if something is going wrong, because now you're using this like it's a daily basis. Maybe it's become an hourly basis. That's time to stop and think, okay, what is going on right now?
Right, right. And I knew it because I had such bad habits. Oh my God, Allie, I had such I don't drink coffee. So Coke was my Coca-Cola. Hold up, everybody. Go Coca-Cola.
I'm finding out about Constance today. No, I'm just kidding. She drank Coca Cola.
Cola, right. Coca-Cola was my choice. And so, but I drank it from the time I opened my eyes until the time I went to bed. And I had
Mhm.
very little water in between there, just very little water.
Mhm.
And and I'm a stress eater. So any kind of breaking news or anything, any kind of stressful situation, and I love French fries. So, it was just all these really very bad habits um, that, um, carried me over the years.
Mhm.
Because at first you're like, okay, that made me feel better. So you just keep going back to what makes you feel better. And so they were just kind of ingrained in me
Right, right.
at a certain point.
and you don't realize how those things are affecting your health, you know.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, it really does kind of break you down little by little, very subliminal.
Yeah.
So those are the things we have to watch. And like you mentioned something earlier, and I meant to say something about it, but we will do what we need to do for our jobs, right?
Yeah.
If they tell us to work overtime, if they tell us, like you said, give you this impossible thing to hang from you're gonna figure it out, right?
Right.
So why not? And I tell people who have a dream, not it's not everybody's dream to be an entrepreneur, to do something. Some people like going to their job, and that's perfectly fine. But even if you like going to your job, make sure you're respected on your job. Make sure you get the promotions that you deserve. But for people who are trying to be an entrepreneur and stuff, I mean, think about the time that you spend making somebody else successful. Why not put that time in making you're worthy of that time, of that
Absolutely.
success, right?
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, I would listen to the sales department say that, the ratings increase and then that way we could charge more for whatever. My pay never changed. I mean, every time, every at the annual review, it came up like, then they poor mouth it. Oh, oh my God. I'm thinking to myself, I work for NBC. Seriously? You don't have any more money than this.
Right.
But again, if you have that imposter syndrome, then you're more apt to accept it. You're more apt to go, okay, I'm just gonna, keep going. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's slowly.
Because the executives deserve their big bonus because
Thank
they're, but me, I'm just the one who's making it happen for the.
thank you. I'm just the worker bee.
Hmm.
And I sat across from women who um, just sacrificed a lot
Hmm.
for their family. I remember the person I sat next to, she, her husband had his own company, and she was the healthcare. She provided the healthcare,
Okay.
but she
Hmm.
was miserable. She
Hmm.
was miserable. And she says, here's the ripple effect. She was miserable and she kept thinking, um, I'm just going to suck it up and just keep doing it. Right. But she made everybody else around her. She was toxic, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's one thing you have to look at. But the other thing that I always tell clients is it's not just you, right? It's especially if you have daughters. What are you communicating to your daughter about
Yeah.
a life that is possible for her? You're saying that, listen, this is the way it is, and this is what I put up with. So, she's taking in that message, you know,
Yeah.
that I should just suck it up and, you know, do whatever, because
Because this is what I need to do. This is what I have to pay the bills. I have to, live somewhere. But I tell everybody there's lots of jobs out there. You just have to keep searching. You have to find the place that you feel values you and that you can grow because we all have so many gifts and talents, and in the right atmosphere we can grow and our
yes,
creativity flows. So those are things that we have to think about. I tell every I mean, it's really so many options. You can move to another state. You can move to another city. Maybe you
yes,
don't move in 3 states away from people, but maybe it's just the next city over you need to go to. So
right.
it's a lot of. I think we forget that it's a whole big world out there
Mhm.
because in this little town, well, because I can say even the town I'm in, it's like everybody migrates to this one company because they pay the most in this area.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
they're not the only company that's
Right.
paying good benefits and things like that. So
Right. Right. And it's up to you to define what success looks like for you. It's not always, you know, what your your definition is not my definition.
right.
And certainly your definition changes over time. I have a 21-year-old nephew, and he's just kind of finding himself. Now, to me, it just puts a knot in my stomach, because I'm just thinking like, wow, you should know, and you should blah, blah, and you should blah, blah. And he's looking like, okay, I'll figure it out. There's no hurry in it. He's like, when I find something that really resonates with me, then I'll go after it, but I think for our generation, too many women were like, I'm going to get in where I fit in, and then I'm going to stay there. That woman that I was telling you about, it never entered her mind that she could leave and do something different. She just was going to stew in her own whatever, and I think when I said I was leaving, she was completely shocked because she thought, well, what are you going to do? My mom had a phrase that she used on us, which was like, bet on you, bet on you. Um, don't let someone take advantage of you. And I think that when I really got into the really, when I was at the pinnacle of being unhappy, I could hear her saying, bet on you, go bet on you, go do something that you like and enjoy. And if it doesn't work out, well, then, okay, that's fine. Go do something else, but we're afraid to fail. We
Hmm.
don't, we don't like to fail in this country, but that's really the only way you grow is if you try, you fall down, you get up. You try, you fall down, you get up. And when one guy I was listening to last night, he said, people will go, it's like a stack of stairs, and people will go to, maybe like the third step, but what stops them from going to the fourth step? Well, at this third step, you feel like, well, I got people under me that I'm smarter than, you know. So my ego is cool there. I got people who are not as good as me. But if I go to the fourth step, then that means I'm at the bottom of the fourth because that's a whole new world. It's a whole new environment. And so I'm kind of like starting over. And God, I don't want to start over. I don't want to feel stupid. I don't want to not know, you know. So I'm going to stay where I am because I'm a big fish in a little pond, you know. But you don't grow. You don't learn. You don't live your life to the fullest. You just live your life to whatever little container you put it in.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so true,
Mm.
and that fear of the unknown, yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I'm safe here. I've conquered this. I know what to do here if something does arise. But this next platform, oh my
Just
gosh.
produce. And when I left news, I felt like, I felt like you're jumping off of a cliff here. Because there's no biweekly pay, there's none of that. Um, and there was so much I didn't know about being an entrepreneur. There's so much. And there's so much I didn't know about the field that I'm in. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly studying about the imposter syndrome and how to develop confidence and all that kind of stuff. I'm constantly learning that stuff. But it's a gut blow. It's a punch to the gut when you sit down and everybody is on social media and platforms. And I'm sitting here going, what button am I pushing?
What? How you go live? You did what? How
What?
do I turn the camera?
Absolutely. And so I applaud people who have the courage to say, I'm going to do something different, something totally out of my comfort zone, because that's no joke to feel like you don't know what you're doing, you know. Um, you just don't know. Allie, I mean, I spent my life in TV news, and when I sat down to do a live Facebook, I was like, and so I'm. It was almost like, who are you? Um, and everybody all my life have called me Connie, right? My full name is Constance, and I go by Constance in my business. But oh my gosh, Allie, I was like, I'm Connie Constance. Oh, wait a minute. I
Johnny
think it's not
Carson.
me. And, it's out
That's
there.
hilarious. I
It's
feel
out,
you. Mm-hmm.
it's totally out there. And, but you have to be willing to put yourself out there, and to tell your business. And I tell stories about myself that I never thought I would tell people. Like the first time I was on your show, I was like,
Yep.
I went bankrupt and lost every dime I have. And then after the show was over, I said, did I really say
Did I tell that story? Was that me?
that?
You did. And
if
it was
somebody,
a powerful story.
if somebody says anything, I'm gonna go, no, I think that was like that Connie Howard.
Oh, there's a Constance and a Connie. That was Connie talking.
Exactly. Exactly.
But your story impacted somebody. I think somebody reached out to you from
Yeah.
that.
I think that people were just really, first of all, they were really surprised, and what I always say is like, look, life happens to all of us, you know. The first time I really told the story in a conference, I could see, people were like, and I remember saying, um, I know you're thinking, I'm so glad I'm not her, but you had your own moment, because everybody gets a moment, because that's life. Everybody gets a moment where you get a really good, strong gut punch, and you don't know if you're going to come back from it.
Right.
So
You're
if
right.
mine was financially, but it doesn't always have to be financial. It could be medical. It could be emotional. Just like you were saying that this is what Black Mental Health Month.
Minority mental awareness,
Yeah,
mental health awareness.
yeah. And for a long time, we didn't talk about mental health. We just suffered silently with it.
And even with that, sometimes because we didn't talk about it, because we didn't address it, we didn't go to the doctors for it. A lot of times, we may have tried to become an entrepreneur, or we may have tried to get the promotion, and it took so much out of us, but we didn't realize there was something else in play.
Right,
So that's why I tell people, please evaluate what's going on in your life. It's not because you're not brilliant. It's not because you're not smart enough to learn. It's just, there might be other things in play that you just are not aware of.
right,
Even like when you're talking about um, the lady being really tired and sleepy all the time, it's feel like I can't ever get this done because it just drains me.
right,
But
right. Absolutely. And the one thing that we hate doing is doing a very deep um, analysis of our strengths and weaknesses, right? So if you don't know what you're really good at and what you need some training on, and maybe what you really need to beef up, if you don't know that whole thing, right, then you invite others to come in and tell you who you are and what you are. And that's the worst thing, because they'll come in based on how they are feeling about themselves, right? Because we usually project onto other people what our problems are, and you allow them to project what they think you are onto you. Now, I remember people would say, um, "Oh, you're mean because you made me write this like 4 times, so you're very mean to me." And I thought, you can either analyze where that's coming from, or you could just accept that. So in the back of your mind, you will be start to say, I'm just a mean person. I'm just unfair to people. And I knew I wasn't, so that wasn't an option. The problem is, the more someone tells me what I am that I know that I'm not, the more I dig my heels in, because you have to believe in yourself, right? So let's say you don't get the job. There might be a gazillion reasons why you don't get the job. right? The person I said that I thought that, you know, she's very toxic. She had said, "Oh, you only got the job because you're an affirmative action hire." And by that time, I had already had like 35 years of experience, right? So I knew I wasn't an affirmative action hire, you know. But what she said was that she didn't even go for the job. She didn't even try for the job, Aly, because she knew they were only going to hire a minority. So what does that tell you? To me, that was like, so you didn't even try for the job, but you want an excuse on why, you know, you
Why
didn't
you
get.
didn't get the job? Wow, that's that's something to think about.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Well, Connie, we're going to take a quick break. I can't
Okay.
believe your hours, almost up.
Sorry.
I know it. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear a song from Big V of Nappy Roots, and it's called, I thought it was a good title, considering what we're talking about today. And the title of the song is It's Okay. So you guys stay with us. We'll
Great.
be right back with more with Connie Constance Howard.
Thank you.
Gonna have some fun again. Yeah. All right. Shake it. Don't break it. Put your hands on your hip and let your back go. Shake it. Don't break it. Put your hands on your hip and let your back go. It's okay. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay. Help's on the way now. There's a way out. What I pray about is it's okay. I make my family tighter. Granny sugar bad, man, daddy off rider. Cousin got hepatitis. Me, I'm out of it. Ain't a whole lot funny. Went from being all good to back to blowing money. Woo. Never thought I'd borrow sugar. Shame is a thing that hard time will do to you. God filled us on the first, we gotta go to church. Mama frying fish smells the sin on my shirt. Hood is still cool. Heaven is so close. Hell is too hot. Praying every night. Satisfied for citizen. Got the courage to finish. So far from timid. The sky's the limit. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay. Help's on the way now. There's a way out. What I pray about, it's okay. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay. Help's on the way now. There's a way out. What I pray about, it's okay. Somebody pray for me. How'd you come to this? Life can take you on a trip that may be hit or miss. Friends are good faith. Kids are on the go. Good or bad. Nothing ever lasts long. Shot a crown. Hoping that it knocks me out. Life seems empty without a screaming crowd. I feel abandoned, but I'm gonna keep on rapping. No matter what happens, I'm gonna keep standing. They can't kill my spirit. God got my soul. Hold on tight, not gonna let go. I've been so kind, I deserve better. Having a hard time, but keeping me together. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay. Help's on the way now. There's a way out. What I pray about, it's okay. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay. Help's on the way now. There's a way out. What I pray about, it's okay. Say hey. Say oh, yeah. Say oh. Say hey. Say oh. I'm so glad. Trouble don't last always. It's okay. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay. Help's on the way now. There's a way out. What I pray about, it's okay. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay. Help's on the way now. There's a way out. What I pray about, it's okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Making Connections. This is your girl, Aly. You're just listening to the song It's Okay by Big V of Nappy Roots. We had him on the show on Saturday. So if you missed that, you definitely need to go back and check out that interview. But again, I thought that was a cool song to play again today because what we're talking about going from imposter to unstoppable and that unstoppable confidence, that confidence that makes you walk into the room and feel like, this is the room I'm supposed to be in,
This is
regardless of
my
who's
room.
there.
Right.
And it's okay, whoever I might meet, because I mean, I'm Aly and
Right.
nobody's better than Aly. I mean, I'm just chill, right?
Right. Right.
So definitely Constance, she has a master class coming up this week. If you've been feeling some of the things we were talking about and you're like, man, I want to be unstoppable, but I just don't know how to get there. So Constance, tell us a little bit more. Tell us how to register for your master class and all that good stuff.
So I'm really excited about the masterclass. We're going to talk about how to identify some of the imposter behaviors that you do that you may not recognize as an imposter behavior, like trying to be a perfectionist or a procrastinator, or acting like a superwoman, that sort of thing. So we'll go through and identify some of the behaviors. We'll also show you how to fight back, right? How you take your limiting belief about yourself and then turn it around, right? So that we teach you that. And then the other thing that I think is wonderful is how you reframe the story that you tell yourself. We all have a story, and it's usually a negative story because that's the way our mind works. But how do you turn that negative story into your power source? And so that's really a really exciting part of the program. The other thing we talk about is how you make your mind your ally, how you talk to yourself, what images you think of, how do you use all of them to make you a stronger, more confident person. And then finally, the hardest thing I think about turning around the imposter syndrome is taking a good hard look at the inner circle that you have around yourself. Who are the folks around you? The old timers used to say, if you sleep with dogs, you're going to wake up with fleas. It's just the way it is. Jim Rohn, a life coach, says that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. And so who are those people? Are they supportive? Do they help you? Do they push you to be better, do better? Do they hold you accountable to your dreams? Or do they just meet you around the water fountain and gossip? Are they always complaining about the boss and it's just the way it is? Are they always encouraging you to to accept the status quo? And that's the hardest thing, because once you take a look at your inner circle and you realize that they're not really helping you, then the next question is, why do you stay in that circle of people? Why is that circle of people around you? So we get into all of that during the master class. And I'm hoping that once people recognize what the imposter syndrome looks like and the effect and the massive toll it's taking on their lives, that they'll want to turn it around. They'll want to say, no more. I can do better. I can be better.
Awesome, awesome. And I think that is so important because I say all the time, information is power. Information is so
Absolutely.
important because it brings awareness of, because I might
Absolutely.
not have thought that I had that imposter syndrome. I might have just thought, well, that's just, my mom acts like that, so I act like my mom, or, my brother's like that. So I think
Absolutely.
getting that information and recognizing those
Right.
things, whether it's your health, your mental awareness, all of those things, is so important. So
Absolutely.
appreciate you hosting this. You
Yes.
know, you getting out of the imposter syndrome into the unstoppable to continue blazing those trails to help us along
Yeah.
the way.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. I feel like this is old home week.
Yeah.
So, so I really appreciate you having me on. And I just want to encourage everybody to sign up. You can head over to my website, which is constancehowardllc.com, and you can click the link there and register for the masterclass. It's Wednesday at 7:30. It's 90 minutes. And the old TV person in me is like, it's 90 minutes. It starts at 7:30. It ends at 9. You know, because I know how valuable time is. Time is the only real resource that we have.
Hmm.
But I think this is so worth 90 minutes. I tell people, give yourself the gift of this masterclass.
Right, right. Yes. Because we do have to invest in ourselves. And so please show up. I mean, I just think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I put it because I'm very forgetful. So I put it
Mhm.
on my calendar, from even my work calendar, because I want to show up. And so,
Yes.
because,
Yeah.
and the thing about it is, you might not even be like in a slump, but you still have goals and dreams. You still want to go to the next
Absolutely.
level. So, even the information I think will help you, even if you feel like you're in a good space,
Yes.
information will still be valuable, I believe.
And also, I think that, what we said earlier is that when you have that kind of confidence, you pass it on. You pass it on to the people around you. And for folks with girls, young girls, you need to pass this on to them, how they don't have to accept anything that's handed to them in any phase of their life, and they can decide what they want, who they are, and where they're going, you know.
Absolutely. Well, Constance, thank you so much. I know this won't be the last time that we
I
spend.
know too.
And so, but I definitely am going to be in the master class. Then I'm going to come back and talk about the master class. And so definitely check out her website. Even if you think you might not be able to be in the master class, go to the website, constancehowardllc.com, and just see what else, all the goodness that's there for maybe you want to work with her, maybe you want to bring her to your company to help some people, your employees to become unstoppable, because that's going to help your business. So
Absolutely,
definitely
absolutely.
reach out to her, constancehowardllc.com, not Connie.
That's a whole nother person.
One day we'll just be have a show with me and Connie and see what
Yeah,
happens.
really, really. Oh, wow, it'd be longer than an hour. I could tell
She
you
said,
that.
"Oh wow." Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear your stories from Ghana. I know you're planning on
Yes,
going there, so I'm excited about that.
yeah.
So you guys know we are making connections with Allie. We're here every Monday at 2 p.m., every Saturday at 12 noon. You know that every fourth Monday is our expert James Sherman Thompson. I have to say his whole name. He brings us motivation and inspiration,
Mhm.
to end one month and then to get on a good foot to start the next one. Then every fourth Saturday, as we are growing, we're doing the food show review with Two Trey Trejo, and that's every fourth Saturday at 12 noon. So we are expanding here at Making Connections.
Lots of stuff.
We are going to use this platform out, okay? To bring you awareness, to bring you the resources that you need. So follow us on Facebook. We're on our journey to 1,000 followers, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And so, Connie, anything else you'd like to share before we leave today?
No, just everybody sign up. It's Wednesday at 7:30. Head over to constancehowardllc.com, and you're in the house.
Yes, and then maybe we can have a show with some people who went through the master class and they
Yes,
can
that'd be fun.
that would be cool. My brain's always thinking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. Make sure you share the video, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. And until next time, this is your girl, Allie, leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a great day, everybody. Bye, Connie, Constance.
Bye. Take care.